I was going to include this in another video, but I thought it was important enough to make it into its own video, as a lot of people might not know what makes a character design friendly or not when it comes to being brought to life. Now, if you want a fursuit, there's a few important things to remember before commissioning. A lot of makers won't accept quotes if the character isn't fursuit friendly. A lot of cool looking designs can be hard to transfer into fursuits, but this ultimately depends on the maker. It's important to communicate with the maker of choice to make sure they're okay with these things when commissioning them or before you commission a fursuit. If you don't plan on getting a fursuit, these things are completely fine when put into a character, as they can make him more unique. Now, here are a few things that are considered not fursuit friendly. Number 1. Characters with multiple shades of the same color, or weird colors. Now personally, I absolutely love sonas that can utilize multiple shades of the same color, or use really unique and out there colors. But when it comes to fursuits, this can become a major problem when translating the character. With digital art, there are millions of colors to use, and that's what makes character design really fun. But unfortunately, when it comes to faux fur colors, they become very limited. Even if you have a simple sona design, there's a great chance that you will have to sacrifice the accuracy of one or more of your sona's colors to be able to have it made as a fursuit. When it comes to multiple shades of the same color, it's likely a few of the shades won't be available, as there's a limited amount of shades available per color. With weird colors, it can be even more tough, as they just may not exist at all, as most people wouldn't have the need to buy it. With this, it's important to keep in mind sona colors, and to make sure you have good communication with the maker to be able to substitute colors if needed. Number 2. Many small markings. Although this one isn't inherently impossible, as some makers would be willing to sew small markings or even airbrush if needed. It's a good way to get your quote not accepted by most makers, or even have the price bumped up by a lot more to have it done. Small markings can be cool on a character, but they're harder to translate into fursuits, as it requires a lot more work and can lead to a lot more fursuit damages over time. This is due to the amount of seams on the suit itself. If you have a character with a lot of markings but still want it to be made into a suit, try seeing if there's a way to simplify the markings, as this will result in a higher chance to be picked as a quote and a lower price involved. Number 3. Tattoos. Look, tattoos on characters are really cool, but as cool as they can be tough to translate to fur. When tattoos or other extremely detailed markings are put into fur, they can actually become invisible, as they will most likely be hidden by other patches of fur. Larger markings on fur are generally a better option, as they're more visible and a lot easier to put into the fursuit. When submitting a quote for a fursuit, it's probably best to ask if the maker is willing to do that tattoo, but if not, be willing to remove the tattoo for fursuit purposes. Many people who commission fursuits sacrifice a few markings if they happen to be super complex. Number 4. Gradients. Along with tattoos, even though these look really cool on characters, it's one of the most unfriendly markings that can be translated into a fursuit. Gradients are possible through the use of airbrushing, but this can make the suit a lot harder to take care of. Now, as long as the maker is willing to do these airbrushings, and as long as you get good info to take care of the suit, it should be completely fine, as long as it's not a whole bodysuit, as this becomes even more of a hassle to take care of. Now that you know a few designs that aren't the most friendly fursuit-wise, you may be wondering, what is fursuit friendly? I'll be giving a few short items that people may think aren't necessarily fursuit friendly, but are most likely completely fine as long as you find a willing maker. 1. Horns and antlers. These are completely fine, they're pretty easy to make, and they can make a really cool character, especially have sonas such as deers, anything with horns, or any exotic animal. They're really cool to have. 2. Unique species. Now, some makers are more equipped to handle canines or big cats or things like that, but it's totally fine to commission a unique species, as it's likely there will be a maker who will be willing to do it. Number 3. Wings. Wings are great. Many makers are actually willing to do these. Just make sure that they've done these in the past and they're comfortable doing them before commissioning them a character of wings. Number 4. Long tails. Long tails, oh my gosh, I love those so much. Floor draggers, whatever you want to call them, they're great. They're not too much of a hassle to make, so they should really be a fine thing to add. Although, of course, nubs are easier to make. It's definitely not a fursuit unfriendly design, and it should be completely fine to commission. Number 5. Big ears. Some people might think big ears are not fursuit friendly. They are. They may be tougher to make for some inexperienced and newer makers, but many makers will be super willing to try new things and new designs. This goes with the unique species as well. Big ears? Go for it! This short list of things are considered generally fursuit friendly. Although there may be a few makers who won't be willing to make these, generally more professional makers will be able to do these, as people tend to take their more unique characters to professionals to get them done well. And that's all I have for this video. If you have anything you'd add to the list, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.